Hi folks, I'm Euge Valovirta, and on this one I will compare EVH 5153 606 Stealth 50 watt amp into the original PEAVEY 5150 black letter. The song you just heard I wrote specifically for this video, and as you saw and probably heard, I used both amps. The second channel on this one and the rhythm channel on this one boosted with bus SD1. And as you heard, they're quite similar. There were a few little differences. So let's go through both of the amps and all channels. So what I'm having now is, oh yeah, the signal chain. The birds are singing. It's what I use always. Guitar, then into my pedal board, and then a KHE audio, amp switcher, then amps, back to KHE, and then to Sandrock React IR, reactive load box attenuator, where I have my signature IR Valovirta from Jens Bogren's lead and clean pack. And then it goes to the Steinberg UR816C audio interface, and then I'm recording this to Cubase and monitoring myself via Genelec Studio monitors. Alright, let's continue. The Stealth crunch channel of the second channel and bus SD1. So they are actually very similar. This is 120 watt amp, bigger transformers and so on. So it's a little bit like a deeper, fuller sound, but that's very common, you know, with 50 watt compared to 120 watt in this case. I haven't played the 100 watt 6L, 100 watt Stealth, but I believe they will be even closer if this will be the 100 watt amp. So yeah, okay, then both amps without the super overdrive. So I have said this kind of like rock sound. So first the Stealth without SD, and then I will switch into the OG. So this one is a little bit darker, kind of like vintage sounding, whereas this one is more like, kind of like sharper. It has, the stealth has more presence on tap because I have it now around 6. This is like 8.5. And the mid kind of frequency is a little bit different. I think this is in general a little bit tighter, and this, the mids are, I mean, I have the mids like 6, here it's 4. And this one it's a bit more like vintage here, not hunky, but the frequency, as you probably know, these are like volume controls of certain frequencies that the amp designer and Eddie has, well, you know, designed back in the day. So these the mids are a little bit different of these amps. I mean, because Eddie's, you know, likings has changed during the years, and this was what he liked back then. But in general, the second channel and the rhythm channel are quite close, this one being a bit darker. And yes, this has been modded, so it has the bias mod, so it actually runs pretty hot instead of cold like the without the mod. And then this has a bias mod, which kind of tames the amp down a bit, makes it behave differently. It's not as, if you played with the, and if you've seen my videos where I compare this to non-modded 6505, the attack is a little bit like really hard. With these mods, this is actually quite close to the Ivory 5153, the first one, which I've used on both Cyrus albums. So these mods, it's actually quite close. Okay, then let's switch into lead channel, both, and like this. So these both channels, they have like insane amounts of gain. So first, let me play them without overdrive. So this is like now a bit over 1, and this is like 3, and 1.5. So kind of like this, you know, nice overdriven sound, which I can then boost with overdrive. So first the stealth. Again, quite close, this being a little bit more like sharper and this a little bit more fuller. Okay, then both with SD, first this. Again, with SD, they're quite close. But in general, you know, the mid frequency is a bit different, and this has more like presence, or more presence on tap, because this is almost full. Okay, then clean sounds. So let's switch this into clean, and as we all know, this one doesn't really have a clean. You can take off the crunch, but it isn't very good. But there's a trick how it actually is a lot better. So okay, so now this one, and I'm gonna add some chorus. a neck pickup. The clean channel is great. So, and then this one. So the crunch switch off. As here, it's not really clean. And then if you back up the pre-gain, the sound comes really thin and like dull. But the trick is to roll down the volume, like on an 800. So it isn't that bad as the reputation, but I mean this is because it's like a real clean channel, good sounding. So conclusion, all of these 5150 amps, the original plug letter, the 6505, 5152, 6505 plus, these new EVH 3 series, they are really good amps. It's just a matter of, you know, personal preferences, which one you like the most. My favorite of the new ones is this EL34 one, because it's closer to Marshall, and if you saw my video where I compare these, this is pretty much the same. They sounded almost identical. So, you know, I have already a kinda this 3-channel EL34 amp. So if I would have to choose now, and let's say I don't have this, and you know, this is the rare amp, they only made this with the black letter logo the first year, let's forget the legacy, the, you know, whatever, but just by what would be best, like most versatile, what amp I will choose. Well, I have the EL34 3-channel amp, I probably will choose this Stealth of any 5150 amps, because this is kind of like a muddy ivory one, the first one. It's just yeah, it's just a great amp, great clean sound, great basic rhythm sound, channel 2, and then insane amounts of gain on the channel 3. I wouldn't probably even use that channel, or like I did now, really turning the gain low, but the second channel is fantastic. It's my favorite channel of these all, and this one, both are great. The rhythm channel is more like vintage, a bit more fuller, and the lead channel is kind of like more like metal bands. I've used on that lead channel on some, you know, metal recordings I've done, and then a little bit more fuller, you know, like rockier. I've used the rhythm channel. Great amps, just a matter of personal preferences. So I encourage to, if possible, to check these out, but you really can't go wrong with any of these. Hey, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was interesting, informative, and maybe even entertaining. Until next time, take care. See ya.